And some of you think that the little demons in you will come to trigger my peace. It's not gonna happen. I won't let you.
Welcome back to our channel where we bring to you the latest and juicy gist concerning your favorite celebrities and other happenings around the globe. My name is Chacha. The Nigerian actress Chacha aka Fanny, who has been dragged since the past few days for not posting or making public announcement about her mother's passing, has finally opened up about her sudden demise. Let's take a look and we'll talk after that. The Nigerian actress Chacha aka Fanny, who has been dragged since the past few days for not
Until the lion learns to talk, every story, every narrative will glorify the hunter. Now, with that quote being said, I have a little story for you. Don't go nowhere. Last week, on the 19th of February 2025, at about 7 a.m. in the morning, I had just woken up from sleep. I was in the middle of my meditations when suddenly my younger brother, IK, began calling my phone. And because it was too early in the day to make connections with the outside world, I deliberately ignored this call and continued with my formation, promising myself to call him back. But then, barely 30 minutes after I ignored his call, my youngest brother, Ahanna, began to call my phone too. And then a weird feeling started to envelop me because the timing was off. They rarely call me, and this type of coincidence was just not to be ordinary. And so I paused my meditation and picked Ahanna's call. And I said, Ahanna Eke, how are you? He said, sister, I'm not fine. I said, what happened? He said, sister, mommy is dead. In that moment, I felt cold chills on my body. I said, what? Anna, what are you saying? He said, mommy died this morning around 7, like a few minutes ago. I said, Anna, what are you saying? And then he said, it was in the middle of the night around 1 a.m. that suddenly mommy began to have a heart failure, and daddy was out of town. He was in Abuja for a meeting, and so they had a hard time getting her to the hospital, and before they could rally round and take her to the hospital, she was already in coma. And it wasn't long after their arrival that the doctors declared her dead, and that as Ahanna, was speaking to me, mommy was already in the hospital, in the mortuary. I said, give me mortuary, like, I don't understand. It's happening too fast. Too much to process. First of all, heart failure, I said 1 a.m. Dead. Okay. Dead people have been prayed back to life. But mortuary? How did we get there so fast? He said, yeah, Justice is there already. Like, she's in the mortuary. I have heard that there are several stages to grief. The first one being anger. It was that day that I experienced it for real. I went full-on ballistic on Ahanna. I began to curse him out and shake him like, why did you do this to me? I took it personal. I felt victimized. I felt like, how could my mom die and you people did not call me the other? From the moment that she was struggling, it lingered. It was a couple hours. She didn't just die suddenly. Why didn't you call me? As if calling me would have done a lot. Although my faith is so strong that a lot could have happened, to be honest. Because at about that time that they said she was struggling with her heart, I was awake here in my house. Around that time, I was awake and I was praying, speaking in tongues for a daughter of mine who was in surgery room right about that time. How was I to know that while I was praying for the life of someone else, my mother was losing her own life? And so it was 1 hour of intense anger and rage with Ahanna that had me wailing on the floor. And after I was done cursing him out, I cut the call. My other brother, the one that was calling before Ahanna, he called me and I maintained the rage with him. I told him, you did this to me. And after I cut them off the phone, I sat on the floor and I began to think about my life. Think about how, whoa, yet again, another harsh reality of life just hit me. And I was forced to take my own medication, those advices that I give out to people freely as a mental health advocate. Life came reminding me, yeah, it is what it is. Feel the feelings, but don't become the emotions. I didn't have to put her picture so that people will know she is dead. Now, I have come to know that just because I didn't post, and just a few days ago on Sunday, the news of what happened last week eventually made it out, and some of you think that the little demons in you will come to trigger my peace. It's not going to happen. I won't let you. I've done a lot of healing to be at this point of peace and clarity that I am right now. I suddenly remembered that for me, privacy, secrecy is my healing chamber. I always say that the only energy that I tune into, the only frequency that I identify with is congratulations, anything that is exciting. And so I propose in my heart not to let the news out. Because come to think of it, what has telling the general public about the sudden demise of my mom got to do with my healing? And so I didn't post the death of my mom, but I was mourning. Eventually, when I was able to put myself together, I made a post that reflects loss. If you scroll down my Instagram and Facebook, you will see the very next day, being the 20th of February, that I posted several videos, but the first one and the first slide is the one where there are individuals in tremendous pain and anguish and sorrow, and they're wailing out like, ah. And then you see a figure, it's a graphics like Jesus holding on to them, comforting them. And in my caption, I did say that let the Lord our God bring healing today that physically and emotionally in pain. That post was in reference to my mom. No, I didn't have to put her picture so that people will know she is dead. Now, I have come to know that just because I didn't post, and just a few days ago on Sunday, the news of what happened last week eventually made it out, and some of you think that the little demons in you will come to trigger my peace. It's not going to happen. I won't let you. I've done a lot of healing to be at this point of peace and clarity that I am right now.
My understanding of grief process is a deeply personal and emotional journey that people go through when dealing with loss. And people need to understand that people grieve differently. You have and studies also reveal that you have different stages of grief. The first one is the denial. At this stage, the person is still in shock, he's in disbelief. There's this feeling of numbness or avoidance of reality. And then you have the anger state. That is the frustration and the resentment towards the situation, towards even your own self and others around you. Or maybe even towards God, like, why will God allow this? I have served Him for so much. I've prayed and I believed in Him. I have sown seed. That is the anger state. And then you have the bargaining state, trying to negotiate or make deals to change the outcome. Like, what if only, those thoughts of I wish I could, if only, trying to make sense out of the whole thing or trying to imagine what you would have done differently. And then you have the depressive state, that is a depression. At this stage, there is deep sadness and feelings of emptiness. People start to withdraw from others. They're struggling with daily activities. And you see some people even at this stage, they know after months and even some years, they're still not able to completely go back to their normal activities. And then you have other process, or the last one is the acceptance. This is coming to terms with the loss, adjusting to life with a new reality. It hurts, but I have to move forward. I have to move on. These are the different processes of grief. And people need to realize that no two persons grieve the same. Everybody deals with it differently. The fact that she did not come outside to tweet about it or to post about it do not mean that she was not grieving the loss of her mother. To some people, it's very difficult to write RIP to their very dear ones. It's difficult. So people need to learn that everybody cannot do the same thing. People grieve differently. And people also go through the process of healing differently. Some people, like in haircare, we learned that speaking is therapeutic, but this is not same with everybody. Some people speak, when they speak, they get healing. Why when some speak at that time, they don't get healing. Instead, the situation become worsened. So people just need to respect people's privacy, and I think and just learn to pray for people rather than tearing people apart with their mouths or with their words. Leave your comment down below. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification button.